Check out this this tweet from Wall Street Silver on Twitter. Coming to a town near you, face scanning for access to
I saw
food
this.
and public transportation. It works great as long as your social credit score is high enough because you obey. Fire. And then there's another video, I don't know if you saw TikTok, where a woman says she's paying her bills at Whole Foods, her checkout with her palm.
What? Oh, because she has like an RFID chip for her bank account?
You go up to a machine and you put your credit card in it. You then hold your hand over it and it scans your hand. And then you take your card out, and now your handprint is connected to your card. So when you're buying your groceries, this is at Whole Foods, I think it was, you walk up and you just hold your hand over the thing, it goes bong, and then you walk right out.
No, I want this not at all. I don't want any piece of this. I recently moved out of New York, and part of it was like, I don't want this encroaching, overtaking of my body and soul and mind and identity to like go to all of this stuff. We're very close in New York to having the thing where you put your hand scanner on just to ride the subway. Like,
that's what this is?
No.
Have you seen Minority Report?
No.
When you've never seen Minority Report? Come on.
No,
Tom Cruise? He walks into a mall.
Literally watch space movies and stoner comedies and like Woody Allen.
It's the future. He gets eye implants. I guess your eyes, all the cameras everywhere scan your eyes. So he gets them removed and gets other eyes put in. And then he walks into a mall and it's like, hello, Mr. Wong. And then the ads, like, cause it's like Mr. Wong's eyes or whatever, are all tailored to him. So you're walking around seeing things, man. They'll be like, hi, Libby, did you pick up that new lipstick yet? It's right over here around the corner. That's what it's going to be like.
Awful.
They're
Just
doing
awful.
this facial recognition stuff. I went to, a few years ago, it was the Amazon store, I think it was, in Seattle.
Yeah.
Where
they have a store?
Yeah, you walk in.
And walk out.
Grab whatever you want and walk right out, and the cameras track everything you do. They bought Whole Foods.
Oh, that's
the plan
right.
is to implement this at Whole Foods. That's why they're doing the hand palm, the palm scanner thing.
Whole Foods during the pandemic, I went in and I tried to get them to make me a sandwich, and they said no, they can't make me a sandwich because of the stupid, arbitrary garbage rules. And they were like, no, but we have sandwiches made here. And I was like, didn't you make those? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, so you can make a sandwich with your COVID germs, wrap it up in plastic and put it here. And I could buy that, but you can't make a sandwich now and wrap it up in plastic and hand it to me so that I have the sandwich I want.
And the thing is that no matter how much...
Gourmelts can. So I'll have to come check it out.
And we won't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. But the thing is that no matter how bad you don't want it, it's going to happen. And the reason is people are lazy.
So awful.
And
so
the problem with society is this. It's very simple. The problem with society is we're too comfortable. And people are willing to blindly comply because they have AC, they have heat, they're able to pay their bills, they can go grab a coffee from Starbucks when they want, and as long as they can do those things, they will gladly hand their rights over to the government.
Well, I gotta tell you, man, look.
Totally
I know I'm not a big fan of Starbucks, but let's be honest, that pistachio cold brew cream thing, that's so good.
I haven't tried it, man.
I was thinking the other night that you got to do uncomfortable things to succeed, and I thought, that's backwards. It's that if the things that you need to do to succeed are uncomfortable. So you got to be willing. Not everything that's uncomfortable is going to make you succeed. Like, don't break your legs.
I disagree. I disagree with someone with that. You are right, but let me rephrase it. I think what happens to our society is that what used to be a rewarding experience, people don't have to do and now hate doing. So for example, exercise, right? I like skating. It feels good. Exercise is ancillary. It's like, it just so happens that if you're skating, you're staying in shape, but skating is fun.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who like working out because they're pushing their limits and they're trying to lift more weights. But for a lot of people, most people, working out sucks. And they're like, I have to do something that's uncomfortable if I want to succeed. It's like, it shouldn't be that way. It should be from when you're a kid. Your parents take you out to go exercise, and it becomes a routine that you enjoy doing, that you push yourself and you succeed at it, and it feels good to do those things. You know what I mean?
Biking.
It used to be
like biking is great.
Acquiring food used to be like that. It used to be a big deal when someone would come back to the tribe with food. That was like not expected. If we don't get it, now it's like people loathe going to the I don't want to do it. Oh, I have to go all the way there to get the thing. Like, dude, you are lucky.
I'm watching 1883, and there's the scene where the dad is hunting with the kid, and then he points the scope at the deer, and then he tells the kid to look, and then the kid's 5, and he says, pull the trigger, and then he's like, he brings the kid down and he's like, you did it. You got your first kill. It's a deer. It's going to feed us for weeks. And he's all excited. And then he's got to like gut it and pull out the garbage and then throw it on the horse and bring it back. Or no, he carries it, I think.
Well, you know what? We don't even have to go back to the 1800s. I was actually, ironically, just thinking about this yesterday. And in the 90s, you know, in early 90s when I was growing up as a kid, I ate like shit. But when I joined the military at 17 years old, I was 130 pounds. Why? Because it wasn't as comfortable as it is today to be in the house. TV sucked. You had to get up and change the TV. And everything that you wanted to do, if you wanted to interact with your friends, you had to go outside. So I truly believe that, of course, food is an issue. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But I believe the bigger issue is the inactivity. And I think it proves it because, you know, in the 90s, we had the same foods that we had today, and it was just as shitty. But the obesity wasn't as rampant because we were doing things. We weren't sitting in a dark room playing video games or sitting at our phone and just our friends are just at our disposal right here on our phones. We had to actually go outside and interact with them.
You used to have to go to the store to shop and go to the bank to get money. Now I bought like 20 things on Amazon in the last 4 or 5 days from my room.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even leave the room.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, I'd have to go run errands with my stepmom, like before the weekend. And one of the errands was always to go get cash because you couldn't get any cash at the weekend. Or you'd have to like go to the grocery store and cash a check. And you have to stand in line with everybody else who forgot to go to the bank on Friday.
Mm-hmm. Before the debit card, I got my first debit card.
And there was no
at,
ATM. We had to like
92.
do a drive-through with like a little hydraulic thing and you'd whatever.
You had to interact with somebody, cash a check to get your money. I mean, I think you're completely right that the lack of socialization is driving this. Also, I think that the opiates are heavily involved with the lack of socialization. But
no doubt about that. I mean, but the bottom line is, it goes back to we're just way too comfortable in today's society, and the video that I filmed live when those police officers came into my restaurant and stripped my livelihood from me. That's the message I was trying to get across to them. I was not ragging on police. I've always supported, police officers. What I was telling them is what they specifically were doing was wrong. And I don't give a damn what your profession is. If you're a police officer, if you're a teacher, if you're in the military, if you're a small business owner, if you're complicit in stripping a citizen of their constitutional rights, you are wrong. But they were willing to do it. And I know for a fact that at least one of those officers that day felt bad about what he did because he had a friend come into my restaurant afterwards and tell me such. And but the reason he did it is because what? Because he didn't want to lose his job. Because he wanted to maintain his benefits and he wanted to have a paycheck coming in so he can provide for his family. And on one hand, you ask yourself, well, can you blame him? But then on the other hand, the answer is, well, the only reason this is going on is because of people like him that are willing to be complicit in things that are illegal and unconstitutional to be comfortable. Now, if every police officer involved in that situation would have stood up and said, this is unconstitutional, I'm not doing it, then it wouldn't have happened. And it was the same for me. It would have been way easier for me to comply and just go along with what they were telling me to do. And I wouldn't have lost, 6 figures. I wouldn't have had the stress put on me and my family that was put on me. But there's more. There's things that are bigger than you, and there's things that are more important than you and your business and your money. And my mindset was always, if I lose everything, if everybody in this entire country stands against me for what I'm about to do, and I lose it all, well, I'm a hard worker. I'll bust my ass, and in one way or another, I'll provide for my family, and I'll be okay. But if I give up my freedoms, I'll never get that back. And that's what I want people to understand and remember next time, is that if you refuse to stand up and fight for what's right, just so you can keep the comfortability of your daily life, then you're going to lose something much greater. And those are your constitutional rights, and those are your freedoms. And I just don't know how to get that across to people. But I hope that my story and my situation, I hope that if nothing else, what it proves is that if you do stand up and you do fight, the people will rally behind you, and you can beat the government, and you will beat the government. And we are bigger than the government. We are stronger than the government because we are the government.
Well, and once you give away your rights, like that's your kids' rights too. That's your grandchildren's rights.
And that's the most important thing.
Then you have to fight a war to get them back.
That's right. Yep. And I did this. I took on this fight mainly for my kids and for the next generation, because if we don't, you and me, if all of us here in this room, if our generation doesn't step up and take this fight on right now, and not only take it on, but win, and we just hand this fight over to the next generation, by the time they're old enough to fight this, it'll be too far gone.
Well, they'll be squashed already.
Exactly.
I got a feeling the next round of shutdown government stuff is going to be for power outages. I could be wrong about that.
What do you mean for power outages?
If the grid goes down for 2 weeks, then our phones are off. People are trying to figure it out. The government starts coming around saying, we're going to take control. Don't leave the house. Don't leave the house. Don't leave the house.
They're not going to do that until they make us all have electric cars. They're going to wait till we all have electric cars, then we can't go anywhere either.
I don't know if they're going to cause it or if it's just going to happen. But if that's a situation where it's like, don't leave the house, what do we do? Do we resist again?
They did that
I'm
already.
going about my daily business.
That's literally how every
yeah.
city was during COVID lockdown.
It's going to be asymmetrical. So next time, it probably won't be a virus next time. It'll probably be something a little...
They're calling it a cyber 9/11?
Yeah, they're working on that too. Like the FAA, the flights that all got grounded. They could pull something like that.
At the World Economic Forum, they're referring to it as a cyber pandemic or some kind of cyber 9/11 incident that will destroy a global economy.
What do you think? I mean, you're pretty realistic.
It would wipe out everybody's money, right? What are those things that would like wipe out all of the information
temporarily?
All of your money is
flares.
Do you think that people should prepare like realistically? Like I've got like a ham radio, solar panels.
Hey! Everybody who listens to this show and can or figure out how to get chickens is laughing right now listening to this show because they got eggs and their neighbors are probably like, please sir, might I borrow some eggs for my pancakes? And you're like, no, they're mine. Actually, you can have some.
No, you're not wrong. You're absolutely right. I mean, being self-sustainable is the most important thing. But I'm telling you guys right now, and I hope this doesn't come across as too politician-y, but I am running for office right now, but I am the furthest thing, even in this room, from a politician, man. But I'm telling you guys, you need to start paying attention to state politics. These federal elections are not where you make your money. It's at the state level. In Virginia, in 2035, electric cars are going to be the law. So you are no longer...
California too, and
exactly.
New York.
So Virginia
and Oregon and
their
Washington.
Lead. Exactly.
I hate that so much.
I think it's Wyoming that said...
Wyoming said that they're banning electric cars.
Electric cars are banned.
Yeah.
And so let me tell you guys something.
That's where you're going to move next.
A lot of people don't know.
Oh, yeah. I'm not... Absolutely. It's awesome. It's expensive, though.
Yeah, it is.
The most important thing, guys, the most important thing by far, and even if you don't believe that, and we were talking about this before the show, even if you don't believe that any election was stolen or any of that, elections are not secure. In the state of Virginia, you can go vote without showing an ID. You tell me how elections are secure when you can do that.
That's true in New York, too. You just signed for it.
Well, hold on. What was the story? I think we talked about it. Did we talk about it? Non-citizens can vote?
Oh, yeah. Well, in New York, they put up a proposal where non-citizens could vote in local elections, and it was overturned.
They can vote right now. I'm going to tell you how. And not a lot of people know this. So check this out. In the state of Virginia and in many other states as well, as an illegal alien, as an illegal immigrant, you can get a driver's license at the DMV, a valid driver's license, right? So our voter rolls, they come from the DMV. And they go, so how our voter rolls get handed down to the Office of Elections.
It's like an auto register, right?
That's what happened in California.
So check this out.
A big story a few years ago.
The people that run our voter rolls is an organization called ERIC, E-R-I-C. And everybody look this up if you think I'm BSing. ERIC, the Electronic Registration Information Center, ERIC. So what ERIC does is it reaches down to the DMVs and it says, hey, DMV, we want all of your information from all of the people in your state that are of legal age to vote. So the DMV sends them all that information. Now, illegal immigrants are in that batch because if you look in the bylaws of ERIC, it doesn't hide it from you. It says in the bylaws of ERIC, it says, hey, DMV, you are not allowed to tell us who is a citizen and who's not.
Why?
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
And so what happens is Eric sifts through that information. It sends the voter rolls down to the state level, and it says this is everybody in your state that's allowed to vote, and illegal immigrants are included in that. And the answer to you as to why, you know who funded Eric? Who helped create Eric?
No, who
Take
did?
a wild guess. George Soros.
Oh, Soros.
George Soros. So George Soros is running your elections. And if you think any of that is a lie, please do the research.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.